who's surprised by this trailer has never read a She-Hulk comic, because this is the most comics-accurate MCU character, fresh out of the gate, that they've ever done. It's the Amazing Spider-Man and the sensational She-Hulk. Now, wonky, but you know what? They're close enough, because it gets everything right. She-Hulk is bigger than life, bigger than her VFX. They've got the sex appeal. She-Hulk is a very sexy character. I think a spoonful of sexiness is going to help the feminism go down. Very funny, a lot of humor here, and action. Sex appeal, humor, and action. What's not to like? And this trailer alone has nailed it. I'm very excited. Even the poster is taken directly from one of the recent comic book covers. And there will be other elements as well from the comics that they haven't even given away yet. Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to run across all of the comic books that She-Hulk has clearly done. We'll talk about that in a moment. But first, I want to give a shout out to Tatiana Maslany. She is phenomenal. She's able to act through the VFX. Good for her. Her look's not only perfect, she's such a good match with Mark Ruffalo as well. Perfect She-Hulk voice. That's important. That's really important. She has to be able to do the humor. She has to be taken seriously as an action hero. I think she's just immensely likable to men and women, and that's what She-Hulk should be. Now, of course, there's the iconic John Byrne's sensational She-Hulk run, where he added a lot of the signature elements to the character. And then also the more current runs, Dan Slott kicked it off, then handed the reins over to Peter David, and then eventually Charles Soule picked up the character, and he did a fun series where Matt Murdock was the opposing counsel. And I'm hearing rumors, hearing whispers that Daredevil is going to show up here as well, at the very least in a cameo. And why wouldn't he? They're both New York lawyers. It's so great. Matt Murdock himself recently got into representing superheroes. Oh, it's really exciting. I will say that She-Hulk, even the John Byrne run, has never been a big seller. So that's something that's interesting. But very, very popular with its fandom. Certainly has made an impression on the comic book landscape. Very well-known character. And I'm hoping that there are people who don't read comics but would love such a character. You know, television has been a wonderful space for women for decades, since Lucille Ball. And, you know, I think that She-Hulk could find a whole group of fans that she could add to her already, you know, Legion, well, semi-Legion group. As I said, it's never been a huge seller. Keeps getting canceled and brought back again. But it's great! Now, She-Hulk likes to have fun between the sheets and on the streets, and I can say that because that's the type of character she is. But she's more controllable than Hulk in the comics, so she's been on a lot of teams. She's been on, you know, she has more self-control. She's been, of course, on the Avengers. She was even a part of when Wanda went nuts. She's the one who ripped Vision in two when she was controlled by Scarlet Witch. She was also, of course, very famously served on the Fantastic Four for a while. And she's also, of course, been a major member on A-Force when they want some heavy muscle. So, great character. There's so many places to use her. The upcoming Secret Wars. I think She-Hulk's gonna have a lot to do. And also, this can't make a standalone Hulk movie, but they can make a streaming show on a very popular service called Disney Plus. And so you have not only Banner here in a large role, and we see Abomination in this trailer, but I hear you're gonna get other Hulks as well, and I think that's even hinted at in the trailer. All right, let's get to it. It's a great trailer. There's so much in it, even though it's under 2 minutes. It's not even a teaser. It's the first official trailer. It, of course, hits Disney Plus starting on August 17th. We're going to have a great time. All right. So we start off that, you know, she's, you know, it's like Working Girl, Ally McBeal, which is something they name-checked when they were pitching the show. You know, all these women lawyers. So it has that feel, too. Feels like something else that I'll tell you in a moment, too. So this is interesting. So Bruce Banner actually starts out with a little narration saying it's difficult to be a superhero. And you'll notice that in these shots, they have different colors. Oh, the colors of Hulks, right? So I think that's a little bit of a, you know, why have such clear, bright, you know, distinct colors? I think because they're, you know, they're hinting at what's coming of the rainbow of Hulks, which became quite popular in the comics. All right. Now we see a car accident. This is pivotal. Pivotal! Jennifer Walters in the comics wasn't a car accident. That's how she was injured. I believe this is her car accident. But it gets interesting in this trailer because I think they're deviating from her original origin story. But in the comics, she got into a car accident and she needed a blood transfusion, and only Bruce Banner could give it to her. And he was like, I've been turned into a Hulk, but she'll die. Okay. So he gave her his gamma-tainted blood. The character's very popular. I mean, I too am like, why do they look so different? But I think Professor Hulk kind of bridges that gap, and I think the MCU might use that as an excuse. So Will's trailer that when she has this car accident, I think she hulks out right away. So when did she get his blood? So it couldn't have been that long. She couldn't have not gotten angry or anything. Maybe it took a traumatic event to trigger the gamma radiation. Let's see what the screen. Look, she goes tumbling into the green, just like her life is about to do. It's really pretty. I'm sure that's intentional. Cinematography, cinematic storytelling. Look at her. She looks so great. That is She-Hulk. That's her costume right from the comics. She looks phenomenal. And that's a costume I think a lot of women would wear if they were a superhero. They're like, yeah, I could see myself wearing that. Some of the other ones, they're either too revealing or not at all flattering. You're like, surely we can do better than that. This one looks great. She's got mobility. It's attractive, but yet it's still, she can be taken seriously. I love the wedge sneakers. I mean, it's just fantastic. 10 plus. And it's comics accurate. So look, it turns green. So she says, I'm Jennifer Walters. I'm an attorney. And look at this. There's her apartment, and there's her kooky best friend. And I have to say, this not only reminds me a lot of a lot of stories about female lawyers, both in movies and TV, but it looks very similar to the Netflix Marvel shows. And that's why I think, again, it makes sense to bring Daredevil in here even just a little bit. I mean, doesn't it look like you could be watching the next Marvel Netflix show if they suddenly got an insane budget? I mean, it does look very much like that. And I liked those shows, so that's fine with me. So she's living a crazy life. But look, so here, I believe this is, they make it seem like that's her law firm, but that looks like a Supermax prison. A very impressive one. Of course, we've seen the Raft, right? But this one is quite the yard for walking around, I guess. Or maybe that's just to make sure there's like a lot of space before you can escape. So I think she's been visiting a client and someone wants a sound bite. That's great. Look at the expression on her face. She's just so likable and relatable. I like her a lot. I love her like Superman kind of curl that she's got there. Also, it's very Mark Ruffalo. I love it. Oh wait, did that guard have some insignia that we can see? I can just see his name's Foley. Oh wait, you can kind of see it. Hold on. Hold on, I must enlarge. It says like Superhuman Federal Protection, or Supermax. Like Supermax Federal something. Ah, I like it. I'm excited. I love me some world building, as you know. All right, so she's now at the law firm where this guy says, I've started up a superhuman law division and I want you to lead it. That's right out of the recent comics. That's exactly what happened. So that's a great setup for a series in particular because it means she's going to have a lot of superhero clients and she's going to have to do some just like a law show, but for superheroes. You know, of course, because lawyers do all their own investigating. I guess if they're She-Hulk, they can, but that's great. That's right out of the comic. So there she's visiting her client, and it's the facility. I like this. You know, we've seen so many, you know, somebody psychiatrist. He seems to be quite happy to have representation. I must be free. So she's like, all right. Now look, so now she's in Mexico. I think this is Mexico because later on she has a t-shirt on that says Mexico. It's beautiful. And also it's green. What a great choice for where to hang out. And it just looks like such a great place to chill. But they're not chilling things. And I just think it's funny to see them approach superheroing. And of course he's got a ring binder. So look, I like how some of the pages, what is it, like some of the pages are green, right? That's so great. And she's like, all right, teach me. This looks like such a great set. I thought maybe the fork and the plate were bigger than usual, but I don't know if they are or not. Tatiana Maslany's so well cast, also because she's a little on the small side. So he's like, I love Professor Hulk. And see, he looks kind of like a supermodel, right? So I think like this kind of makes sense, makes more sense that she is supermodel-y, right? They both look amazing. Right, so she's not gonna like this though. So he's like, your transformations are triggered by anger and fear. And I really like her line. I know some, but wait, before she says it, you see her kind of Hulk at for the first time here, I believe, because I think that's the reflection of the car that just had the accident. So somehow, right after she has her accident, she's probably like, how am I still alive? Because she's been hulked. So perfect to have like baggy clothes on, because when she hulks out, they'll still fit. I think that's a very funny choice, that Jennifer Walters would always wear baggy clothing instead of having to worry about it ripping. Although they do rip too, because that's right out of the comics. She looks so great. So she's like, anger and fear are the baseline for any woman. And a lot of women are like, yep, that's right, that's exactly right. And so he has this as wonky. I think the glasses help. But she looks phenomenal. She looks so great. I'm like, who zhuzhed your hair when you transformed? You look fantastic. But like many women, she's had enough. She's a little angry, and she's like, all right. And she just rips the door off. And I love the directness. I love that. I think that a lot of times, even when they're superheroes, women are sometimes portrayed as apologetic or hesitant. So to see women just take action makes me very happy. Yay, she just rips the door off, and she's like, I'm not enjoying this. And, you know, she's not sure if she's enjoying this. So you can see she's at work, and she's She-Hulk. She's She-Hulk at work. And that's something that the She-Hulk comics, particularly some of the newer ones, have always explored. Is she just gonna, should she ever be Jennifer Walters? Or should she just be She-Hulk all the time? And is that devaluing Jennifer Walters, who she really is? Right? I mean, who would you want to be all the time? Because She-Hulk becomes a superstar for the firm. So there's pressure at work to always be She-Hulk. So, and those guys are certainly seem to be enjoying it. Although it seems like we might have to talk to HR a little bit over their reaction. So she's like, I just want to be an anonymous lawyer. And like, good luck with that. And I look at that. I love it. So she's on her phone, and I think they edited this really well. She looks pretty good there, I think, with the VFX. And they're like, you'll like her, you know, like social media liking and stuff. So I think that's clever. And so look, she looks great. That's great. I think her neck could be a little longer there. So these are her friends, you know, and she's shown up as She-Hulk, and she's having a great time. I think that's funny. Part of the fun things about She-Hulk are the clothes. She has great fashions, and she likes to flaunt them. So as I said, she likes to have fun. So I'm glad that the series is doing that. And again, her hair is amazing. You'll like her when she's angry instead of you won't like me when I'm angry. Love it. So great. So here she's taking on some dude. I'm not quite sure what villain that is, but there are some other characters later on that that I think I know who they are. So they're practicing in Mexico, and they're doing a workout. He's showing her how to do the Hulk leaps. Isn't that great? I wish they had a better shot when they land. But look, she doesn't have the superhero landing yet. She's got to work on it. She landed actually more like a Hulk, but he has this perfect superhero landing, and she still needs to work on it a little bit. But they both look fantastic. They look so great. And look at all the green. They blend in. They can really hide in the jungle, come to think of it. Oh, I like that camouflage. Some more evidence a little later in the trailer that I want to point out to you. So she's like, I'm not a superhero. That's for narcissists, billionaires, and adult orphans. So I thought that was interesting how she broke it down. I'm like, you've become quite the superhero. Thank you very much. You have a long future of superheroing ahead of you. I love her. This is right out of the comic. Look, she's hulked out. I think she looks great. You know, she looks cool and sexy, and I think appealing to men and women there. And, you know, she's ripped her suit, and I think she's fighting Titania there, Tatiana Maslany, Titania. But Titania, you see a better shot just in a moment or so. But look, right in the middle of court. I object, Your Honor. It's so funny. I love it. So I think that is Frogman from the comics with a better, slightly better suit. So look, I think that's training. He's waking her up with Mighty Honk. Hulk's waking her up. He's like, up and at him. And look, there's Titania, played by, let's see here, Jamila Jamil. And I think they said her character, this version, would be an influencer. But in the comics, one version of Titania, and that's why she wears such zany costumes, comes from the world of wrestling. So it looks like they might have kept that as well. And of course, wrestling's very popular right now, so that would make a lot of sense. So I'm excited to see these two women spar. Look at that, that looks great. Interesting. But we know we will see Bruce Banner a little bit in the show. We've seen that already. Ray. But that's the look that he sported in Shang-Chi. So I guess he can transform in that. So there she is with a shirt that says Mexico on it. I love this shot. It's so She-Hulk. She looks powerful and like she's having a lot of fun. I mean, look at her. Only She-Hulk does this. It's great. I think it looks great. Then we have this logo. It looks so good. The top She-Hulk is right out of the John Byrne era, but then Attorney at Law is the newer comics. It bridges the whole history of the kid out dating. And now look, she uses her She-Hulk photo even as for the dating app. So she's swiping. Oh, she likes what she sees. She's going on a lot of dates, and this guy seems to be the winner, and he goes, "This is my best date ever." And he says, "You want?" It's so funny. He's like, "You want to split some fries?" And she's like, "Let's get those fries to go." She's even a cheap date. Everyone's gonna love her. So they head on.